welcome to the Open Paddock RallyCast. This is episode 38, and originally this was going to be a single show since we've been off the air for a while, but we decided to split it into two as it was just a bit too long. In this show, we welcome special guest co-presenter Greg Dorman of Subaru Rally Team USA. You'll hear more from Greg in our part 2 next week, where we discussed the New England Forest Rally and WRC Finland. However, our primary guest this week, who finished their first ever New England Forest Rally, is Hammersport Racing. We know BMWs are no stranger to Northeast rallying, but a twin-turbo BMW E90 running the xDrive 4-wheel drive system is something we've never seen before. Not to mention, it showed up in New England on street tires. We chat with them about the build, how a Florida team gets interested in rallying, and what their plans are in the future. This is Open Paddock, the RallyCast. Hello and welcome back to the Open Paddock RallyCast. I'm your host, Mike Shaw, and with me as usual is my first co-presenter of the evening anyways, Ian Holmes, who might have some exciting news to impart. Ian, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks a lot, my friend. Yes, yeah. This Sunday, I was in a top secret rally car workshop here in Minnesota. I was being fitted for the co-driver's seat for the forthcoming Ojibwe Rally.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that means, unfortunately, I won't be able to have you co-present at the jump like we did last year, but we will talk at you as you fly by. How about that?
That sounds great. Yeah, hopefully we will be flying by as well.
There we go. Well, speaking of jumps at rallies, I had someone that was with me with the live stream that we're doing for ARA, Mr. Greg Dorman of Subaru Rally Team USA. He's going to be our co-presenter this evening. Greg Dorman, welcome to the Open Paddock RallyCast. Thanks for being on the show. How you doing?
Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Well, that jump, by the way, was really cool. We'll get into some more stuff about that. But without further ado, we actually have some other special guests we're going to bring on because we wanted to talk to somebody that was competing in this rally, and we figured no one better to get than these guys from Hammersport Racing. They had a very unique vehicle, one that we're not used to seeing in stage rally because, I don't know, there's something about, I guess, the BMWs and the xDrive that most people think that it's not quite rally ready, but these guys found a way to make it work. So we're going to get them on the line here in just a sec and see how their New England Forest Rally went. Well, as I said in our introduction, we have with us Hammersport Racing, which is George Hammerbeck and Lewis May, who had a very interesting vehicle for the New England Forest Rally. I'd like to welcome to the show George and Lewis. Welcome to the Open Paddock RallyCast. First of all, how are you two doing this evening, way down there in Florida?
We're doing great this evening.
Yeah, a little tired, long day, but that's the way it's supposed to be. That means we did it right.
Certainly, certainly. Well, what I'd like to kind of, first of all, kick off with, I mean, you guys are a Florida-based team. There's not much for rally nearby you guys. How did you guys get started in rallying and end up coming all the way up to New England?
Well, we're from Minnesota, so
that explains everything. Okay.
Well, that's all right. I'm happy there.
There you go. I knew that you'd be surprised because I read from the email that you didn't know that. But we're from Minnesota, so we grew up rallying our parents' cars before they knew rally existed.
Oh, that's awesome. So whereabouts in Minnesota, and did you do any professional competing then?
Well, we're from the hometown of Charles Lindbergh, which is Little Falls, Minnesota.
Oh, good gosh. I used to live in Princeton, which is only like about 35, 40 minutes drive from...
I know exactly where Princeton is.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I've actually bought rally tires from some rally guys out that way.
Oh, right. So that's probably Doug Davenport Racing?
It is Doug. It is Doug.
Doug's a good friend of mine, so...
So, yeah, we grew up, our parents are family friends. So George and I have known each other all our lives. And we have a whole group of his cousins that are family friends that our parents went to high school together, essentially. And, George's father and my father were into motorbikes together, old school dirt bikes and snowmobiles, because everybody in Minnesota does snowmobiles. And, we just grew up kind of the small town life, living in the country, hunting, fishing, and working on cars and other types of motor vehicles. So, I had a motorcycle when I was, 9 or 10 or something like that. And, George had his whole motorsport kind of childhood existence.
My dad actually had the largest Kawasaki dealership in Minnesota for a while, so I got kind of all the toys and was told to go practice every day.
Oh, that's a rough job.
So I had my go-karts and snowmobiles and three-wheelers and motorcycles, and Dad raised me to be a racer at 3 years old, and I got pictures of me on everything doing crazy stuff.
Yep, George was the guy that everybody could get to do something and not think he would be able to do it, and then George would jump it and most of the time come away unscathed.
He's a very impressionable young man then.
Yep, we all were.
But why go rallying then? Because it's like, I mean, knowing Minnesota quite well. I mean, Minnesota is quite the hotbed of dirt track oval racing. I mean, you could have gone dirt track oval racing. So why rallying?
Well, for me, it's just been a quest of passion. I mean, I've done a lot of different professional racing. On my quest, I started with, pro motocross I made it to, and then snowcross and go-karts and jet skis, and moved into car stuff and truck racing and, road racing, and kept coming back. My skill level and my love was for rally racing.
So George got his first, built his first rally car in like the late, or like 2000, 2001. He ran a 318, right, George? You ran a 318 for a couple of years.
Yep, we built a 318 with the help of Jim Rowe from Metric Mechanic out of Missouri. That built us a pretty good monster, and we were pretty successful with it.
You got to run a couple rallies.
Yep.
So George is actually the only rally that we have experience on is the Detroit Lakes area. So George has been on those roads. It's been a while.
We did Missouri too.
Oh, you did a Missouri one?
We did Missouri, we did Wisconsin, and someplace else.
Okay, there you go. So, but we get to go back to Minnesota. Everything we've been doing, we bought this car the end of February is when we started this build.
And that's what I want to talk about here. I want to talk about that car because, apparently you started with the BMW before. So, why a BMW 335 and you got it just so recently?
Go for it, George.
So, with some of the things that I've got to do, I've got to experience a lot of different cars, and I still keep coming back to the BMW platform because it's a car that I can jump in and be able to do just about anything I need to do with. And, when we started the company, we discussed a couple other avenues and a couple other cars, and for our marketability on where we want to go in rally racing, this was the perfect fit. So
yeah, it was a challenge. It had to do with being a challenge, being something nobody had done before, bringing something new to the sport, doing it with our own flair and our own style. I don't want to call up anybody and ask them how to do it. I want to figure it out myself, and we'll just be better in the long run for that, I believe. Plus, we get to run a BMW.
Well, yeah, and you went to a great rally for it because both STPR and New England are well known for the large contingent of East Coast rally BMWs. But again, it's very interesting that you guys went with the four-wheel drive, though, the BMW X-Drive system, which doesn't have much of a history, if any at all, in rallying.
Well, we wanted to run an all-wheel drive vehicle. I think there are plenty of difficulties running a newer model BMW. We just went for it. We wanted to be able to run in limited because that gives us capability to run alongside the open category. And we just weren't afraid of what people said there were limitations to the X-Drive. And it turns out when we do the way we run with it, it's just a straight up all-time four-wheel drive platform. It doesn't have any computerized interference when it comes to the X-Drive, the way we have it set for the rally.
Oh, I see. So you have it pretty much just locked into like a 50-50 or whatever split that you got?
Yep, absolutely. We're not running we're not running any of the computer controls that go into any of the German four-wheel drive vehicles. The Quattro, the 4MATIC, and the X-Drive. They're all traction control formats.
Right. That's what I was talking to Matt Kalish, who's the guy behind the camera normally with ARA. He's our BMW expert. He owns a BMW himself, and was telling me all about this stuff. Like, wow, I mean, that's their system is very much designed, like you said, around traction control and constantly changing with the computers, the differentials, and all that stuff with little clutch plates and things like that. And wow, that could be just something that would just burn up. But you guys, I guess, found a way, and you guys came up with the whole design for this thing since February?
Yes.
Yep.
We have some skilled people on our staff.
And we really didn't make the decision to run the ARA until probably middle March.
Yeah.
Middle to end of March. We were just still up in the air with which rally series to go after first. And, just the specs seemed a little bit more friendly to our application as far as what it takes to get into limited and be qualified in that category. So it just was a good fit for everything we wanted to do. We didn't want to go to Colorado yet. We wanted to go to New England and Minnesota. We have a specific set of goals with every one of the races that that we're going to do this year. And we were able to achieve our goal at New England Forest Rally. So
I mean, obviously the four-wheel drive system is something you guys had to make a pretty major change in how it normally runs by default.
No,
is there anything...
it's just pressing the right buttons, Mike.
I like it. I'm visualizing somebody in with a steering wheel just holding a button the whole time as they're...
That's what the co-drivers... That's one of the co-driver jobs.
But seriously, what other stuff did you guys have to do to prep this car? Because like I said, it's just a little bit unusual.
Well, as we're keep moving forward with, when we started with some rally crosses to kind of feel the car out, see what we needed to, we literally went out and tried to break the car and found out where the weak points were and how to fix those problems, and and just keep developing the car to make it stronger and stronger. I mean, New England was a good test to see what we could endure with the car.
Yeah, and then a lot of it has just been the tuning of the engine to keep it compliant. We like that we're running a 6-cylinder engine, straight 6, and we also like that we have twin turbos. We feel like that is obviously a disadvantage when it comes to service and maintenance, but it's an advantage. We think it's an advantage out on the race course, on the stage. So that is a challenge. We have 2 restrictor plates in our in the turbos, and then we have a lot of the just typical tuner modifications to the engine that are legal in the category. Now the engine is tuned. We ran the engine untuned on the last one. Oh, wow. So now the engine is tuned to where right back up with the big boys there. We have rally wheels and rally tires on the way. Whether we run them for Minnesota, that's yet to find. We have to modify the brake system so that we can fit the wheels over the brakes, because that's a big car with a big, it's a more of a road track car than an off-road car when you look at the stance and the wheel tire brake setup. So we're modifying that, to get it where we want. But Minnesota is something we're familiar with, so there's a chance we probably are going to run the 17-inch tires and the good old Continental all-terrains, tried and tested.
Well, that's something I did want to ask about, and I think you kind of answered it there. The fact that you guys are running road tires, it wasn't because then that was so much intentional that what you had planned all along. It's the fact that you have to redo the braking system and fit that smaller tire that rally tires are, right? Get a smaller wheel and all that stuff to do that. So you guys would have ran a rally tire if you had the prep and testing of a different system. Is that right?
Absolutely. But Mike, we started this in March, so we know what we're trying to do is difficult and it's not ideal. It's not what you would envision it being if you got to write it down on a piece of paper. But we're not going to let any of that stop us and say, you know, it's like that it's going to be, we're going to wait for the perfect time to start this. The time was right for us. So we started this journey. And, you know, we weren't going to let not being in the ideal rally condition with the car stop us from practicing all the other things that we could practice to, you know, run competitively. And that's what I love about this game, you know.
You know, it is. I mean, rally is the ultimate adventure. Now, I want to talk actually specifically about the New England Forest Rally because, again, you guys are coming all the way from Florida. Explain the trip just getting up there, because from what I hear, it was an adventure just getting to the rally.
Also, all of this stuff that we used to get here has been, you know, acquired in the last 2 months. So we got our trailer, which we love it. It's a great trailer.
We had a fantastic truck on loan.
Yep, I've had numerous different ways to acquire a vehicle without purchasing one to get up to New England. One of my previous business partners has a set of, a fleet of diesels. So
Nice.
We borrowed an old 350 that,
Made it to Jacksonville.
Orlando to Jacksonville.
3 hours before it broke down. But, we have every set of tools, every tool that we own. We weren't afraid to have to fix the truck on the way. And it turns out that we had to fix it right away. So we purchased what we needed for the truck. And, we couldn't get everything that night. So we camped out like we had to. And we fixed the truck the next day and hit the road again.
Pretty much rallied from Jacksonville.
Yeah, our rally just started 1,400 miles earlier than everybody else.
I love it.
Yep, that's how much passion that we have for this whole sport.
So, Mike, now we've got joining us John Schultz, who was the third gentleman that came with us on the trip, and we actually met John at the Rallycross. So we knew John for 2 days prior to him coming on this trip with us. And John was in charge of our basically our videography and our photography. So he was the guy that was helping out. But he was also our only crew member and head of logistics while we're on the road. So he set up our service. He got us food. He just became the the go-to guy for us.
The everything man, yeah.
The everything guy. And he did that without even hardly knowing it. So he put a lot of faith in us that we were just going to be nice people, I guess. Yeah. And, and he followed us on this trip that ended up being, 12 days or whatever long by the time we got back to Florida. So he's here now and, interjecting a little bit as well.
Hey, you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing great. John, welcome to the crazy world of stage rally, man.
Oh, it is crazy indeed. It is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. The work has not stopped. I tell you what, Mike. It's been a journey ever since we left Orlando, breaking down in Jacksonville. The radiator blew out. We all rallied together. We're like, okay, let's get this done. We went to Advanced Auto Parts, bought a whole new radiator, started changing all the lines and everything. And we forgot one tool, a little $3.15 tool, a radiator transmission line remover tool. Yep. So we ended up having to sleep at the gas station there. Went to Advanced Auto first thing in the morning, popped that sucker in. And then we're on the road, and it's been fun. I was running service. I was doing videography. I was going out trying to get footage. It was an adventure in of itself, all on my own. So, but these guys are absolutely fantastic. They've really this whole trip has really solidified us and almost become family. And we're just really getting excited and really trying to get ready for Ojibwe up there in Minnesota. It's actually, I don't know if you guys talked about this, but it's kind of our home track. And so we're really looking forward to a great family turnout, a lot of good support. We've been working on a video documentary, a little mini-series about this adventure that we've been on, because the whole thing that we're trying to do and that we're passionate about is telling stories, going out and having fun, showing people they can go out and do great things and don't let different circumstances hold you back. We are very passionate here about our BMW and our BMW setup. And it's been a great driving machine on the road and the way that it can handle just getting it set up with rally tires, brakes, suspension, and I'm sure that it can be able to dominate on any surface coming up here very soon for us.
That's the attitude we like.
Yeah, that he's got all the energy there. That's awesome.
Of course. No, we're all running on fumes and ambitions right here. We just got the trailer loaded up. We're getting ready to take it up to Tampa, over to our roll cage guy, getting a brand new roll cage put in, and just been working on getting everything rally ready. And we're still
Rally ready-er.
Rally ready.
Right.
We're still waiting on those brake parts so we can run those 15-inch rally wheels. But all in God's time, I guess. So we're just gonna go. We're gonna do our best, and we're really gonna push and see what we can do and see what type of car we built. Because with this setup, the straight six twin turbos, or what they're running the Supras nowadays? So something like it.
You know, a funny thing too, Mike, when you guys were talking about the heat problem, we solved that before we came up to the rally.
What's the secret?
That is a trade secret. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I see how you are.
Guys, don't know if we can tell you guys, but he's just gonna have to stay tuned to get that type of information from us.
And the benefit of being in Florida is we already have the heat to deal with, so anytime we can get the temperatures down, the further north we go, the cooler we can run.
Although, for me being a West Coaster, any place east of the Rockies tends to get a little warm for me sometimes with the humidity, but that's me. I'm a little bit of a pansy, I'll fully admit that. But
blood thins out. It's okay. It happens to everyone down here.
Yeah, I thought for a minute when you said that you'd got the car on the trailer, I thought you were already starting your drive up to Minnesota, given what happened on your previous.
Much. We're not returning more south than Orlando unless we can help it. So I guess you can say we're starting our journey north.
There's plenty of unknowns at this point of what we're going to be able to accomplish to the car. If we had to leave right now, we'd still enter the race, but we have a lot of stuff that we'd still like to do to the car. So time to depending on when things show up and what we can get done. We have the list of things that we have to do. We're doing an upgraded exhaust. We have to upgrade the skid plates, to make those a little more durable. We've
got Condor Speed Shop working on bushings
for
us,
we have
custom-made bushings.
We'd like to put in a non-plywood bushing this time.
See, that is the stuff that I wanted to get into a little bit. For those that didn't follow the New England Forest Rally super closely, and I'm sure you guys will have your video coming up eventually, but, kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown of how your New England Forest Rally went, because it sounds like it was quite an adventure. There was some interesting plywood used to replace a part. Give us a little rundown.
So the whole thing, everybody at the rally their work generally starts on Wednesday or even before that. Well, we were still transiting on Wednesday up. We were in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday in the middle of the day. So we drove through the night till about 3 in the morning, about 4, as late as we possibly could, and got to the north side of New Jersey. So we were still 7 hours away when we woke up at 6 in the morning to continue our drive. So we arrived in Bethel area around 1 o'clock and got to the rally air service at 2 or 3, I think. So we got there at 3 o'clock and we still had to pass. We knew we had a lot of things to do to even talk to tech inspection. So we got into tech. They gave us another list of things to do. Boom. We checked in at 8 o'clock that night, and I had never seen a stage rally notes.
So Lewis's first encounter with a route book was at midnight.
That's right. So George, you've rallied before, but Lewis, he's done nothing before. He's got a co-drive. Gotcha.
Yep.
But I tell you what, he did one heck of a job because he nailed everything right out of the gate when we started on that first stage.
Except for...
calling 2 lefts on a right.
2 lefts don't make a right. So George and I put it into the woods about 4 minutes into stage 1.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, we went back to the footage replay, and we saw that the way they were gaining on the people in front of them, there was a big cloud of dust, but the trees opened up to the left, so it naturally looked like it was actually going left. But then after the dust cleared, obviously, it was right. And Giorgio did the safe precaution. He didn't try to take the turn. He just went straight in, and so he could be able to pull it straight back out, not at any odd angles.
Well, and so we didn't pull it straight back out. We had to jack it up to get it out, and that's what blew out the bushing in the first place. So we had a blown out bushing at that point, and we were able to finish. We blew a tire as well, so we patched the tire on. Then I had to, figure out how the stage notes transfers back into the transit notes, which I had never seen before. So, we're sitting there. We knew we were already behind, and I'm trying to decipher this back and forth between these two books. And the guys in the Jeep come flying by, and they're like, just follow us. And we're like, that makes sense for a second. So we start to follow them, and I start going through the notes, and I'm like, well, these notes don't make any sense compared to what these guys are doing. They took off. They didn't know that we were already broken in our suspension. So they took off at, regular highway speeds of 45 miles an hour, and we're limping. We don't want to go faster than 30. So they lost us right away. So we got completely lost. I figured that out 10 miles down the road. We had to go 10 miles back, and then we circled around and finally made it back to
And that's when we had
beginning.
to blow up with the tire.
Yeah. So then we got back. We were able to limp through that stage and get to service. But we were so late to service that the director there said, you only have 20 minutes, not 30. So that's when we, pulled this out. We had a half a bushing at that point, and we, we had to fill that gap up with something else. So I cut 2 little donuts out of a 1/2-inch plywood that fit around the coupler and into the bushing housing.
And this is for a suspension arm, right?
Yeah, that's the lower rear
Control arm.
the front rearward lower control arm. So the main lower control arm in the front suspension. And it's a real large bushing that has some, flexibility on one axis. And we put some plywood in there. That allowed us to run hot for about half of the 3rd stage before we felt that blow out again. And
well, it got us to finish the day.
Yep, got us to finish the day, and then the 4th stage was canceled.
Yep.
Because of Ken's fire. So at that point, that was good too, because at that point we also learned that we had a radiator leak. So we were able to duct tape that up, wire it up some. We begged for bottles of water because once again we didn't really even think of anything other than a pencil, basically, and the normal gear that's attached to the rally car. That's all we brought in supplies on the first day was a pencil and a pen to mark on the thing. So it was really lucky for us because we might have, if we had to wait and then drive through that stage, we might have not made it through the stage because we had a blown radiator too. So we got back to service that night and started working on the radiator, which we tapped in with some plumbing fittings, some brass plumbing fittings, and found some fuel line.
Yep, and I want to give a shout out because, I was telling Lewis how, the rally community is super family, and, they let us in and we needed help, and everybody pitched in and helped us out to keep us going.
That's awesome.
We found some parts, and we had to deal with that, that half a missing bushing. So that's when we...
That's when I formulated the compound, and we made some more wooden parts and used JB Weld.
Yeah, we filled the bushing up with JB Weld and put a plywood spacer washer on the outside of it. And that lasted all day Saturday through...
In fact, it's still
that's a lot of miles.
in the trailer at this moment in time.
Still in the car. We even blew out the shock on that side and blew out an axle on the other side, but the JB Weld bushing held through all night, all day long.
Everything else busted, but the JB Well held.
You need to get sponsorship from JB Weld. That's
Yes.
for sure.
If they're listening, JB Weld, we got you.
So you guys made it through that. You made it through the next day. I know it was definitely dusty on the Saturday, the final day of the rally. A lot of people talking about that. But really, the first time out like this, just making it to the finish has got to feel like a huge accomplishment.
Well, Lewis has got a good notion for that because he actually had goosebumps on the way back when we were finished.
Yeah. We just worked so hard to get there, and not only did we, complete it, but completing it was our goal, So it means more when you set something up 3 months ahead of time, and you know it's going to be a real hard task, and then you finally get there too. That's what we did, and we got to run a couple stages a little bit, half of the stages fast. We knew what we were doing. We didn't go out there delusions of grandeur, thinking that our Continental tires with OEM struts are gonna pound through 6-inch hunks of rock and gravel. That's not realistic. So George is a heck of a driver. Together we're a very observant set of eyes and team, and we just we ran where we could to the capabilities of the car, and the car limits us right now. And soon, and maybe one of the rallies this year will be rally ready, and then we'll have to use our own limitations to finish rallies.
So how did the tires stand up to the punishment?
Awesome. Yeah, they were great.
They worked awesome.
Everybody thinks that we're gonna go rally corner around a corner, and sure we are, but we're not gonna. The tires slide differently than
I have a good point that I found out when I was doing truck racing. So when we actually put like the racing truck tires on to do like stadium truck stuff, it dug and it dug in. When we use street tires, it would get on top of the surface, and you could go faster and have the vehicle more edgy to be able to control the car better. That's kind of the situation we had, where instead of the edges digging in and kind of slowing the car down, yes, you have more grip, but a lot of times, like if you know how drifting works, you can get on top of stuff and kind of float the car around and keep moving forward.
But it limited George's ability to throw the car sideways, and use the sideways movement of the car to slow it down before the turn.
Right.
And so we drove it more like a road course.
Yeah. And another word on the tires. Sorry about that. Another word on the tires. We didn't have a single on-course blowout with our road tires. The only time we had a blowout was after we pulled out from the tree in
it was
transit.
just from hitting the trees. So the tires.
Oh, and that other one when you guys looped back around was from a transit.
Yeah, that was it blew out during transit, but the damage took place during the hitting the trees. So it was really
We made it 25 miles before we changed it.
Yeah,
Sure.
The tires were an issue because we saw the rocks. Everybody sees rocks. And in what world can you fly into rocks like that with regular street tires at 80 miles an hour? You can't do it. So we didn't do it. That's all. If we had driven that car like you want to compete with, rally-ready cars, we would do
speeds where we could, and then we would observe and slow down, and then go soft over the hard sections, and then try to pick up the pace again.
Yep, and we caught. We know we're in the position to catch a lot of those cars. So our speed factor isn't going to be where we want it to be. But if they put us behind everybody, that they put us behind last time, it'll be a problem for us. We're going to catch every one of those guys. So.
Yeah, especially, once you do get a little more meat, if you do have the rally tires on there, that's going to make a big difference.
We're coming into this with an all-wheel drive car that's pushing 320 horsepower to the wheels right now. Mm-hmm. We have the power. We have the car. We still know that we have to limit the speeds that we can do the stages at because of the limitations of the physical limitations of the suspension and tires of the car. So we're not going into this rally thinking that we can do the impossible. We're going to, attack it a little bit more. We know that the roads are different and we're familiar with them. So we'll be able to push the pace when we can and, be cautious when we need to be.
So in the night stages, where you didn't see in New England, that's what you're going to see at Ojibwe.
Oh, yes, Greg, that's a very good point.
Stages. I always did well at the night stages at Ojibwe.
We're I can't say I'm ready for that, but I've driven in the night.
Driven with George.
So, tackle one thing at a time. That's an obstacle that I don't even have to think about until we get there. I can tell you I'll be a lot better at reading stage notes this time. And, hey, maybe we'll even do reconnaissance.
Hey! Wow.
Obviously, we don't need to do reconnaissance to finish a race. So, you know, anything like that, that's just gravy. That's just bonus content for us.
So, you know, obviously New England was a big test, but, you know, you're planning on doing Ojibwe, but you said kind of at the beginning of this whole thing that this is part of this big project you guys are on. So, what is the end game? What is the long-term goals here? You know, obviously you've developed it.
Sure.
You're still working on the development throughout this year. Do you have a full championship plan for next year? Is that it?
We have a ton of goals, and the goals have to do with rally car goals and business goals, and
Do tell.
you know, well, I'll tell you some of it. You know, we're going to definitely be releasing a video here pretty soon. But this has been a journey that George and I started relatively quickly. I've entertained it myself for, you know, maybe a couple of years, you know, before even discussing it with George. But it was when the timing was right, I came to George and was like, hey, let's go for this here. You know, tell me what your ideas are. And we discussed his ideas. It was mainly about the car, you know, because he'd been looking at the E90 platform with the N54 twin turbo engine for a while. But really, you know, I'm already a businessman. I have a business going on, you know, and it's not wildly successful or anything. But, you know, that's what I've been as a salesperson and a business person, helping people, you know, with the things, solving their problems. So I just look at this as an opportunity to kind of grow into a new realm of business. You know, without getting all the way into it, we are working to build this rally team and leverage it to accomplish some business things in the rest of the business world. But first, we need to bring value to the community. So our goals, you know, are to bring value to the ARA and help you guys grow the sport, because we know you want to do that, and we want to do that as well. You know, we have our goals within the rally, which include, you know, representing other partners in the, you know, with our car and with our marketing abilities.
Well, we're planning on running more than one car next year.
That's, you know, we'd like to run more than one car, but the, you know, the real meat behind this is, you know, some of the things that we want to do for the world and our local community that are just exhibited through the accomplishments that we're going to do here with Stage Rally. But we want to bring value, and I need to bring value to feel like I'm doing what I want to do and what I need to be doing. I have to remain in the business world as well, because you know, you can only help so many people with entertainment and racing. Yeah. But you know, my aspirations go a lot deeper than that. So I'm going to leverage this.
Yeah, we're working on a lot of different things over here. What Lewis was touching on, that our first and foremost priority is to the community, because we have such a passion for rally racing. I know I've grown up in Maryland.
The rally community.
In the rally community that. So what we're trying to do is that we're really trying to first and foremost give back to everything that we've received, all the help that we've gotten from the fellow racers, but also growing the sport and being able to reach out and go beyond and bring this into the lives of the households and into people where they are able to go and witness, because this is really an American sport. You know, we're technological, we build cars, and we have beautiful landscape, we have a beautiful country. And really what the ARA does is be able to bring people out of the cities and suburbs and say, hey, go look at this amazing thing that's going on. You have Travis Pastrana, you have Ken Block, you have David Higgins going down these forest roads that have been historic trucking roads for over 100 years, where they can be able to go fly and go flat open and be able to go sideways going around a corner. It's absolutely beautiful. So what we're trying to do is bring that into people's lives. And then once we go to that, we'll be able to go and be able to do much more for our community, being able to help sponsors, be able to put messages out there so we can be able to go and do great things and tell people that they can go out and live the dream. It's like, look, if you have certain cars, you can set it up. You can go in limited class. There's classes for you, for your setup, for your budget. We can go out on the weekend and have fun, where people can go out and have fun.
So it's just to be inclusive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know,
amen,
anything,
brother.
Yeah, right. I think all of us are thinking that. You know, anything to help promote, anything to help get, you know, rally, I think, out there to the public. I mean, so many times with, you know, even how deeply involved in rallying as I am, and you know, I'll see somebody, you know, an old friend or whatever. I'm like, going, yeah, I'm doing this rally thing. Rally what? What's that? You know.
Yep.
We got to change that, right? We need to get it so everybody knows what it is.
You know, we want it to be sustainable for us so that we can keep doing it. You know, it is a hobby activity for some people, and that's okay for them, but it's just not what George and I want. So, you know, I have to look at this from all points of view and build a sustainable business that brings value to other people so that they can help us sustain it. So in doing that, we're going on this journey of building this car and, you know, doing these things we haven't done before that are very difficult to do. But just recording that story, which is John's job here in place with this company, just recording that story and showing how difficult it was and how many opportunities we had to quit and give up, but we didn't. And by not giving up and not quitting, we were able to attain our goals, which, you know, we're reachable, but we're going to keep shooting higher and keep shooting higher. So showing that goals can be attained through this type of persistence is a message that helps people who don't even like racing, you know. So, and I want the world to understand that you got to decide your challenge, whatever that is. But if you see us do ours,
what does it take to go from grassroots to professional racing? That's the message.
Hard work, determination, and well, it's really to go, not to be kind of cliche, but it's really the American dream, because you want to go out and do something, achieve something great, like these brave race car drivers that are going out there and risking their lives to achieve greatness and stand on that podium. That's the American dream. It's a challenge. You have to go out there and you have to work hard. You have to overcome adversity, obstacles, and that's the story that we're out here. That's what we're telling. That's what we're going to be telling. And we're just so lucky and thankful and blessed to be able to share it with you guys over at the ARA, all the race fans, all our fellow competitors. It's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing opportunity to go up to New England and be able to test our car. We're just really getting excited for Ojibwe. So watch out, we're coming.
Well, that's super exciting. We're happy to have a new team, especially one from an area that you know, obviously doesn't have a lot of rally exposure. Really, you guys can delve into a new market that I think rally hasn't penetrated very well, and we're excited to, as just part of the rally community, excited to have you guys a part of it. So how does everybody follow Hammersport Racing?
well, so we do have a website. It's just hammersportracing.com. The website's been up for a while. It's not completed. We also have Instagram, which is going to be hammersport_racing. That's going to give you the biggest taste of all of our media, you know, our pictures and kind of the Instagram story, you know, so it's fun and easy and, you know, not too in depth. Of course, we have Facebook, and then we have YouTube. We will be launching our app within about a month or two. It should be completed. So we have kind of a, you know, we have a everything has been soft launched at this point. I don't think that we're polished to the point that we will be in about 2 months, but you know, all these little steps, there's a lot of ways to follow us.
We have, of course, we love to dream big. We have a whole multimedia platform that we're working on and developing, that we're working on getting out there. But of course, you want to follow us, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all social media. Anyways, we have a documentary series that's going to be coming out.
You just got to Google Hammersport, Mike.
Yeah.
That's real. There's only one other Hammersport in the world, and they're also fans of German hard work. It's Hammersport International and Hammersport Racing. They follow us, we follow them. It's just It's called Hammersporting. It's
there you go.
It's living the dream, you know.
Okay, so I've just found Hammersport Racing on Facebook and liked it, and Hammersport Racing on YouTube and subscribed. So there you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
We're gonna. Well, that's exciting because we've been working very hard for the last week to kind of come up with our defining video. It's our first very polished video. So that's going to get released here in the next couple of days. It's an intro to the next video. You know, we've been gathering a ton of footage, so we're excited that John's on the team. He has the outline and idea for our documentary, just a mini documentary that we hope to publish, after Ojibwe. But we want to use all of these mediums to share the story, so we appreciate you tagging them. That's how to get there. We're an entertainment company. That's what Hammersport is all about, is sharing this form of entertainment. So we're going to work really hard to make sure that all of those online media platforms are doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be entertaining.
You guys have blown me over with your enthusiasm and excitement. Because I grew up with rally from an early age, and I was excited for rally when I was a kid, when I was like 9-10 years old, and to hear you guys now talking like this, you're like me when I was like 10 years old. I'm loving every minute of it. I can't wait to meet you guys up at Ojibwe, I have to say. Well, I'll come looking for you and shake you warmly by the hand for sure.
Thank you.
What got me excited about it is I was able to do a lot of different professional racing, and this was the only form that I would stand out of the woods for the first time and have an adrenaline rush when the cars come, and they weren't even to us yet. You could just hear the noises coming through the woods, and then they come past.
It's just a bigger game. That's what I like about it. It's a game that started in February, and the game is still being played. We play the game every day when we're pouring through rules, pouring through parts catalogs, pouring through the internet, talking to every manufacturer of every type of part.
Developing a lot of stuff that we're going to be launching as well. We've been making a lot of new products.
The interior and the design of our car is all of ours. George fabricates a lot of the things that go into this car for the free parts of the car that we're allowed to manipulate. Yeah. So we're living this as full as we can, and we have a lot of aspirations to stick with it for a long time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just really love enjoying life, building and creating, and we just love automotive sports and rallying, and we're just happy to be a part of everything.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Any last questions, Greg?
I'm just looking at the website, just looking at the social media. Everything looks great, and looking forward to see where you guys go. Good luck.
Greg. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, again, follow these guys, Hammersport Racing. We'll, of course, have links when we post the podcast. And you'll notice the car if you're out there at Ojibwe. It's the big 1552 livery that they got on it. It's a great car, and we're excited to see you guys out there. Thanks for being on the show, and looking forward to seeing all the awesome content. And hopefully the rally tires, though, will be ready for you for Ojibwe. I want to see you push it a little bit.
Yep. Thanks, Mike.
You and us both. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
And that's this week's Open Paddock RallyCast. As I said at the top of the show, we'll have our part 2 with discussions from the New England Forest Rally, WRC Finland, and a bit on the America's Rallycross, posted in a few more days. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Ian Holmes and our guest presenter, Greg Dorman, I'm your host, Mike Shaw. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.